So it is recording now if you want to do the intro,
Yeah,
mate.
I'll just start off now then, yeah.
Go on. Leave this bit in.
Yeah. Les isn't here to oversee these things, but yeah, it's the weekend. It's mailbag, I think the saying goes these days. I am not Les Roberts. I am Matt Jones. I'm here in Les's stead this week, who can't make it. But delighted to be back on mailbag. It's been a while. I'm delighted to say I've got 3 great guests with me to answer all of your questions about Everton and everything else. We've got Warren Doyle. Warren, how are you, mate?
I am fantastic. I just said off before we start recording, a Matt Jones mailbag special. How can you not be excited for that?
I wouldn't say it's a special. It's like it's a significant downgrade on Les, I would say. Who's, you know,
I thought you were going to say it's a significant download on this type of shows I do. But then...
Well, no, definitely not. That's the thing about the Blue Room. So many different types of shows. Like, yeah, I'm not funny enough. I'm not funny enough to maintain a regular appearance on this show weekly as you guys are. But Ian's joining us as well, mate. How are you doing?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. And we've also got John as well. John, how are you, mate?
I'm all right. I'm just had a busy day doing absolutely nothing.
Busy day doing nothing. Fair enough. It's what Fridays are for, really, isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah. It's preamble for the weekend.
Absolutely. Cheers to everybody who sent the questions in as well. If you watch us on YouTube, just a reminder, hit like and hit subscribe and you'll get notified whenever we put out a show, be it mailbag, be it byline, be it Blue Monday or weekly, or the instant match reactions as well. Do leave us a comment, let us know your thoughts on anything we're talking about today, be it Everton related or anything that's not serious at all, which obviously the sort of stuff we like on here. And yeah, do check out the rest of the content over the international break as well. Plenty gone up already this week, and we'll have loads in the build up to Manchester United. So my question that I put out in the tweet today, lads, obviously I'm stepping in for Les today as replacements for the host of this show. Sort of along those themes, I sort of asked our listeners and viewers, what's the worst replacement in Everton history? We had a few responses from people online that we'll get into. But John, I'll come to you first, mate. Is there anything that stands out in particular, be it a player, manager, or something a bit more miscellaneous?
Because I'm going to miss out the obvious and let someone else say it. Can I have 2 little ones?
You can have whatever you want, mate. Yeah.
First one is Neil McDonald replacing Gary Stevens in 1988. I mean, that's just the worst. And then the next one, really the worst replacement of all time has been Wayne Rooney's hair replacement. He's trying. I mean, God loves a try. The lad keeps going and going. He's ploughing on. Eventually, it might stick, but I don't think so. And I think it's time for Wayne. If you're watching Wayne, just let it go.
Can you go to a bit more detail about the first one? That's not what sounds like quite a painful transition that I'm necessarily too aware of.
Well, Gary Stevens, as we're all aware, was probably one of the best right backs this club's ever had. And when he left for Rangers in the summer of 1988, we replaced him with Neil McDonald, who was a attacking fullback as they built it from Newcastle, but he was absolutely rank. And he is my most hated Everton player ever, barring the ones who shit all over us. But, as someone, he just had absolutely zero redeeming features. He had a face that looked like a wet Wednesday in Bridlington. He could hit a ball. I'll give him that. He could hit a ball, but he couldn't really do much else.
Don't forget the scarf incident.
Well, I'm going to get into that now. Terrible fullback, terrible midfielder, and the bastard threw my scarf away that I gave him at Wembley in '89.
I mean, quite an extensive list there.
Yeah.
Ian is ready to come to round for you, mate.
Yes, and it's not an obvious one. It's Jimmy Gabriel.
And what is the context around that one?
The fact that he took over as manager after Howard Kendall resigned in, I think it was the end of December 93. And he came in, and I think was it about 6 or 7 games he lost off the belt. Remember Tony Cotty saying, "No, we all loved him, and he did everything he could, but he just couldn't get a win for loving the money." And then obviously Mike Walker came in.
Yeah,
and he didn't get a goal for ages. Now I think it was 5 or 6 games without a goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which we then managed to get 2, but that was in a 4-2 defeat to Chelsea or something, so it didn't really count.
I've got a quick one on the. I've got a quick one on the Vischer Price badge that we brought out as well. Everybody hated it. Obviously, we didn't vote for it. And my mate was getting married. I might have told this story to a few years on here before, but my mate was getting married, and we went to his night do. So there was me, my mate, another mate, sorry, and his girlfriend. We went to the night do. So drove up. He was waiting to meet like all his guests coming in. So we drove up. I slammed the car door, and before I even said congratulations to you both, I was like, "That have you seen that fucking badge?" And he still reminds us of it today.
Oh yeah, we got a few shouts for that. I mean,
Yeah.
Warren, is that one of yours?
I was going to say the badge. I think it's been mentioned in some of the replies as well to the question today that we put out online. But I'm going to say, and I know Les backed me up on this one as well. I don't think it was so much a replacement, more of the worst ever transfer exchange ever. And I think it was Tony. John, you'll back me up if this is wrong. Tony Cottee left for West Ham, and in return we received David Burrows, which is quite possibly the worst
Not just
transfer
that.
exchange.
We gave them money as well as Tony Cottee.
I know.
Didn't we give them
think
£1 million or something? That is.
No, it was about I think it was about £400,000.
There was something like that in the deal.
Yeah. Am I right in saying, did he score an own goal in his first game or one of his first games? Have I made that up?
He was just shit, so he probably
He didn't last long, did he?
I've done like an eternal sunshine of the spotless minds about him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's mad.
White about his existence. And he looks like a blow-up doll.
Yeah, I'll go for that one. Yeah, David Burrows. How he ever made it at Everton, always became an Everton player. What a awful.
So why was he sort of so? Had he been playing really well before that point, or was it just a completely out the blue mad transfer?
Well, it was more that he was sorry, mate. Yeah, he was just a snide when he played for them. He was a snide when he played for West Ham. He was a snide when he played for us.
And he scored against us after 30 seconds at Anfield, didn't he?
In 91, I think it was, the 1991 season. Yeah. So I hated him and everyone hated him. He was like one of those players who everyone hated. And then Mike Walker goes and signs him.
Crazy.
Obviously, my suggestion, which was very much in the GIF that put in the tweet, was Benitez replacing Ancelotti. I mean, it's just one of those, like, I was looking for GIFs of Benitez at Everton, and because it was such a short spell, and probably because there's so many high points in inverted commas, there just wasn't any that existed. So I had to get one of his Newcastle taking the glasses off. But I mean, how do we reflect on that time and that decision? I mean, it felt to me, John, like that was the point where, like, I'd sort of had doubts about Bashiri, and like I was a bit worried about some of the things he was saying and doing, but that decision and that sum was sort of like, yeah, this fella has finally lost it, and I'm officially gone for him. A little bit worried to very, very concerned about our ownership.
This club's had some low points. We've been relegated twice. We've had the first ticketing scandal in football with the turnstile scandal in the early 1900s. We've had all kinds of terrible players, but that is the low point of Everton's history, appointing that man. As a matter of fact, I'd go as far as saying that with all the bereavements I've had in my family, all the things I've ever seen him work, his appointment is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
I mean,
or to anyone. Actually,
you know what? I know you well enough, John, I think, to know that you're not lying when you say that either.
No.
That's no hyperbole in that at all whatsoever.
Go on. Like I don't know. Like I don't know, Warren, if you were sort of still like I'd started doing the Blue Room fully around that time, but like I remember at that point, like going into shows and that stuff. Like obviously we lost Angelotti, and I remember doing a pod with Dave and Les, I think, on Lark Lane, like Rambo, where I used to live, and we were like, "What on earth has happened here?" But like I remember, because obviously during the summer you want to be positive and you want to like get people excited and listen to the content. And I remember like physically having to gear myself up sometimes when it was clearly going to be Benitez to be like, right, how are we going to make this a positive thing and make people want to engage and get involved? I mean, did you do any of that? Did you sort of try and talk yourself around into thinking like, you know, maybe John is shaking his head vociferously, just saying so is Ian. But
I stopped going, literally, until he went. I never went.
I remember.
Yeah, I know it's support your club at all costs, but, you know, that's the moment the club left me, was when they appointed him.
I do remember thinking that how on earth is this going to work? Like, as soon as we go through 2 defeats on the trot, for instance, it's going to be Agent Rafa, isn't it? And it
Definitely.
just, I couldn't see how it'd ever work. However, I was pleasantly surprised by I won't say warm reception, but the pleasant reception he got at the first
Tepid.
game, Southampton. It wasn't tepid. It was a bit better than tepid.
I
And then,
know,
do you know
but
when we won that game, and then we beat Brighton, didn't we? We had quite a good
Yeah.
start under him.
yeah,
We
And
beat,
I remember
we beat
thinking,
at Leeds and then won 2-0 at Brighton, didn't we?
yeah, really good result. And I remember thinking, all right, maybe this is worth a chance. But then I still remember thinking, as soon as he loses a game, it's going to be that cop-out Rafa. It was never going to work. It was the
Never,
worst
ever.
appointment. Worst appointment. I mean, he's got to go. I mean, I thought Mike Walker would take some beating, but Mike Walker wasn't really dislikable. He was just bad. Whereas Benitez is dislikable, isn't he?
Yeah.
The thing for me was all the talk about who we were going to get. We were Pereira was mentioned, Potter was mentioned, Espirito Santos was mentioned. So you're thinking, right, some of these could come in here, and then all of a sudden it just hit you like a ton of bricks that he was coming in. And I remember being down in Liverpool. Me and my girlfriend went down for a couple of days, we stayed in New Brighton actually, and we were coming off. We were just down near the ferry terminal, and excuse me, as we crossed over, there was like a pub, I think, like a Liverpool pub, and it was just a picture of him and Gerrard holding the European Cup. And I just thought, we can't have this man at our club. We cannot. And then obviously we did, and the way it went was just horrible time.
I thought you were going to say you saw him kicking around the world, Benitez. That's obviously stomping ground, isn't it? Yeah.
But he knows the city, doesn't he? So
well, that was a selling point.
Yeah.
He knows
He's
the
got
peninsula.
the knowledge, like a taxi driver.
Oh god. But yeah, I do vividly remember after his press conference though, there's a lot of people going, "Oh, do you know, he spoke quite well there." It's like, "Oh no, let's not do this." Like, and it's like, I vividly remember as well when the fixtures came out and we had Liverpool in the derby in December, and everyone said that game we will be losing at Goodison, and they'll all be singing Benitez's name, and it's just not going to work. And like, it happened just like as badly as we all could have imagined, but like we all knew it was coming, and like that was the game where I think a lot of people left after like 20 minutes because like I've had enough of this. And
do you know what was did we get beat 4-1?
4-1, yeah.
Yeah.
You know the worst thing about that game is not the fact that we lost 4-1, not the fact that he was managing us. They took it easy on us at 4-1. They just shut off and didn't bother because they were doing Benitez a favour.
They could have scored after 2 minutes, if I remember rightly.
In some ways, I'd rather have lost 8-1 because at least I know then that they're not patronising us, but they were just doing the Aldo ruffle. You know, that's what they've done to us. So, I mean, the fact is that man made me want us lose, made me would have accepted an 8-1 defeat at home because of him. So, no, he is the worst thing that's ever happened to Everton Football Club. There's nothing that even comes close. And the fact seeing him in an Everton scarf, I was on holiday and it ruined my holiday, genuinely.
Do you know what? When you think back as well, like I know it wasn't the same as Benitez, but Sammy Lee was our assistant.
I was just about to say that. Horrible. What a horrible little rat Sammy Lee.
What the hell was going on with Everton in the last 10 years? What's going on?
What's Bill Kenwright doing in the boardroom? He should be saying to him, we cannot do this. We cannot do this. What's it going to do to the fan base?
Do you reckon he was, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was nowhere.
Yeah, Kenwright had about as much effect as we would have done at that point.
True.
Yeah.
Rashidi and what's his face Usmanov were not listening to anyone.
No.
They wanted. They checked out by that point, and I'm sure they were just doing it as an experiment to see how far they can get away with things.
It was wild, absolutely wild. But funny to look back now in the fullness of time, and we're the Premier League team still and stuff. But at the time, very, very difficult. Some other replacement shouts. Worst replacement shouts in Everton history. The Denby have said £10 chicken instead of foot-long hot dogs.
Definitely.
John is not vociferously there.
I mean, I only had a couple of those hot dogs. They were stale. The bread was stale. The hot dogs were lumpy. But £10 chicken, come on.
Are they the hot dogs which each end sort of limply hung out the side of the bun?
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, you know the meat of dubious provenance, let's say.
When I used to sit in the top balcony at Goodison, there used to be this like little burger thing with these burgers out there, like the water, and put in a bun for like £4. Actually, in the stadium, it was like even no matter how much you'd had to drink before the game, you thought, I'm not having one of them. Like, what it was, been swimming in all afternoon.
With one of those fellas who wears a white Mac with a white white apron with a white T-shirt that looks like it hasn't been washed in about 4 billion years.
The thing is, though, the bread had no butter on it. It was just like a burger in a dry bun for like £4.
Oh God, it's funny, like, isn't it? Like we get all this like really not posh, but like upper end food moving to the new ground, and people are still pining for the sort of the sad hot dogs and the and all that kind of stuff. The warm beer,
or $6.50, but it's not $6.50 for a donut.
Oh God!
Don't get me wrong, them donuts are like crack, but they are not worth $6.50.
Well, you can get them cheaper at the women's games if people are into hoarding donuts, and that's the main reason for going to the match. So potentially, but you get them free in the press box. Apparently, my sources have told me. So get all the journalists hyped up on sugar when covering Everton. We've had some other shouts as well. Mike Blakey said the number 19 shirt, James to Mikolenko. I mean, that is quite significant. Well, Mikolenko's 16 now, isn't he? So he's changed. We've had this one from Tangled Up in Blues, Castore for Hummel.
Yes.
Yeah, I really liked Hummel. I've said this the other week. Did you see the when we had the Sunderland training jackets they wore out to with the ties? Oh, I looked at that and I thought, why have we got rid of them? Why have we got rid of them? They were spot on.
Yeah, I think some of the Castore stuff's like warming on me a bit, but like, I mean, I've got on now the current, the Goodbye Goodison shirt from last season.
Yeah.
And I've washed it about 3 or 4 times, and the label's already come off.
Well, I've got last season's baseball shirt on.
Yeah. So
that was nice. That one, to be fair.
Yeah.
I do like this season's away, the lemon coloured one. I do like that. I might get that.
I don't know. I think it looks like what the old school barbers used to wear. It looks like a barber's smock from the 50s.
I like it. I think it's smart, that one.
I think it's okay. I like the inoffensive.
Yeah, I like the pictures of it, but seeing it in person for the first time, like, it just, like, the only way I could describe it is like it looked a bit infected.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just like, I think the colour's just a bit like, it's like infected vanilla, I'd say.
Yeah. You should work for a company doing that, Matt. Definitely.
You know what? Like, the funniest things you get is, obviously you get like some mad press releases as reporters, but the funniest things every year that I like to read but are very boring are the press releases for kits. And you just think, you've just made up a load of words and terminology there to make it sound good. It's like hydro, there's always hydro something in there. There's always like something to do with like the fit and that sort of stuff. It's like, it's just a load of absolute shite just put together. Like, I might just probably hold on ChatGPT now, to be honest, but
isotonic blue.
Yeah, isotonic blue, yeah. What was the is the season we had Hammers actually? It was like a mint green.
Like a seaweed or something, wasn't it?
Seafoam, yeah.
Seafoam green, yeah. It's like, oh, you're just making up colours now.
Do you know what it is? I'm still a kid. I still buy all 3 shirts. I know that sounds a bit sad, but I do buy all the shirts, and I've got I did buy
this is a safe space for kits, Ian, remember?
I know what it is. I bought the replica goalkeeper's top from 1990, but it's a short sleeve one with the
like
little NET on. I've got
like the black, brown, and green one with little bits of black and green in it.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah. The protest kit.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I'll share that one. I just wait till they all go on the fake sites and buy them off there. They don't get seized coming over the border. There's a couple of them. I got like a full like letter at one point being like, all the warnings on it and everything, like record delivery, being like, don't ever order off this again, blah, blah, blah. But so we've had some more. Rob Fisher said, gotta be the badge, although that was our best most eventful season since 95. Sound Dave has said, Sandro for Lukaku, and the excuse about his goals not being relevant to our position. That's obviously in relation to what Steve Walsh said, didn't he? I think he said, we finished 7th and if we take Rom's goals away, we still want to finish 7th, which is a bit mad. But I mean, I thought Sandro was going to be boss personally. I think he's the player who, in terms of excitement levels and what they actually delivered, has probably been the biggest disparity in my Everton watching life. I don't know about you guys.
He's
especially
the
for
biggest.
the money we paid.
Nowhere near.
He's the biggest YouTube highlights player we've ever had. Looks great on YouTube, and then just didn't work out, did he?
My missus has come up with an actual term for that. Called it tube fished. Do you know, for the players, like being catfished, but you're tube fished.
Tube fished.
Yeah,
Sandro was a tube fish. 100%
Yeah.
tube fish.
I've been tube fished. Same with Nias and Cenk Tosun. I remember Cenk Tosun watching, because remember they come out that we were signing him on Christmas Day for some reason. And so I was on Christmas Day waiting to go up to, I think, go to my mum's for dinner. And I just put a video of Tosun. I was like, oh, he looks brilliant.
Well, when it came out, we were going to sign him on Christmas Day. And we announced him half-time in that cup derby, didn't we? Where last minute for them. It was like, what are you playing on here? Your brand new star striker is being announced during a game when you should be. But like, I remember Sandro, like we were linked to him for ages, weren't we? And then I think he starts getting linked to like Atletico and Real Madrid, and like I was going into like a full-on panic that summer, being like, "Oh my god, we're going to miss out on this lad. He's next big thing and all that." And he came and
Steve Walsh came in with all that reputation, hadn't he, of winning the league for Leicester by signing all the players. And we were like, "Oh, we found another gem. We found another gem in Sandro."
I think another one I'll give a shout to in terms of players recently. Might have even been the same summer actually, but Ashley Williams replacing John Stones.
Oh God, yeah. I never liked Ashley Williams. Never liked him.
Yeah, he was all right for a bit, wasn't he? But
he had one good season for them, didn't he? And we paid, was it £6.5 million for him at the time?
More than that, 10.
It was more than that, yeah, about 10, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because he's done well in the Euros.
But yeah,
crazy.
I'll never forget that game against Burnley when he got himself sent off, didn't he? And just that was really bad time. And we've also had this one. I'm a bit too young to remember this. Don't know if you lads can. This is from Dan SEFC. He said replacing Z cars with Blue Moon Rising in the 1940s.
Oh yeah.
He says I remember getting to the match when it was finally binned. Portsmouth in the League Cup, getting beat at half time. They start playing it, and the angry Dars in the park end shouting to turn it off. I'm making it to the top.
He tried a few things that season. So at first, he replaced it with a fanfare for a common manager at that one. That didn't work. So he brought out. Yeah. Then instead of Z cars, then he brought out this Blue Moon Rising that had been written by a Swedish fan club, and it was the Creedence Clearwater Revival classic Bad Moon Rising, but adapted to Everton with some of the worst lyrics I've ever heard. Noel Gallagher would have been ashamed of them. And then he's right, that game against Portsmouth, it just got abs. And then he just kind of like, let's just forget we ever done this.
God. There's just no song, is there? That could ever you could never replace that without people kicking off and on.
No.
Have I made this up, or did we try, or did they want to do Eiffel 65 Blue instead of it?
They done a focus group about it, didn't they? Remember?
That would have been
group.
Iconic tune of the late 90s, but do not put that as the walkout song.
Yeah.
You would definitely accidentally a cop-eye to the focus group who would have just ruined it all.
It just reminds me of that. It reminds me of that fella at Sunderland when they did the Netflix documentary.
Oh,
the really cringy thing where he's like, "Yeah, let's play this. It really gets the crowd.
He's EDM.
Let's do this." Yeah, and the three on the panel who work for the club just sat there like shaking their heads. Nah, not do this. Brilliant. Just reminds me of that.
But now they've got Republican ready to go. Oh, that's awful.
They've had that for a while, yeah.
They've had Z-Cars in the 70s and 80s, when they were at Roker Park. And then they brought out, I mean, Republican Ready to Go is one of the worst songs of the 90s. It's just dreadful. Just posh girl and posh lads who, Daddy, I want to be a rock star kind of thing. And then he brought it. And then when they all start singing Ready to Go, I just go, oh, come on, Sunderland, you're a decent club.
Yeah, Johns doesn't like Sunderland, do you? You're probably the blue I know the most there's a bit of a love in, isn't there, between the two clubs, but you're not having it.
No, I don't like any other club. I literally want, unless it benefits us, I want every other club to lose.
Fair enough.
I've got nothing against the people of Sunderland. I know quite a few people from up there, and they're all right. They're all good people, but as a football club, I don't like any of them. So I'm not going to have a love in with anyone. I barely love Everton.
Make Everton horrible. again. I think that's fine. Let's move on to the questions we've had from you guys, then we'll get into some of the listener ones. So this is from Ian. He said, "Hi guys, hope you're all well."
Hi Ian.
Hi, mate. Hope you're well.
With this being the international break, who's the best international player you've seen for Everton and against us? So Warren, I'll come to you first on that.
Oh, wow, best international player for us. That's a really, really good question, Ian.
Thanks, mate.
I think it's hard not to look past Rom, because I think that he was, I don't think it's too far to fetch to say, he was probably the closest to an elite striker we've had. I think he was just a little bit off being completely elite to, like, dominating at European top clubs, but what a striker, brilliant striker. I think it's hard to look past him. I'd say probably now, let's go Kanchelskis, because he was a Russian international, so I'll go with Kanchelskis. And the best one I've seen against us, probably not, I don't even know if he was an international, actually, probably not in terms of overall ability, but just his performance on the night. Sebastian Frey, Fiorentina, just for
He
that.
definitely for Italy, didn't he? Was he Italian?
Yeah. Was he John? French. So maybe he didn't, but I'm gonna, for the sake of the question, I'm gonna say he did. Oh, he did. Yeah. I mean, that night, he just turned into Lev Yashin and just saved everything. And we had to score a wonder goal from Arteta, didn't we, to put one past them. So I'll go for them too.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he is French. He played for France. Only 2 caps for France. How mad's that?
Well, was he up against Barthez?
And Bernard Lamar.
Yeah.
Like that.
There's a bit of competition,
Johnny, would you go for, mate?
Big Nev.
Yeah.
The greatest. I know we go on about Dixie Dean, Alan Ball, and I'm not saying they're not world class, but Neville Southall, for me, is the only player that we can truly say was the best in his position in the world at that time. When Bally was about, there were other midfielders like Beckenbauer who played in midfield who were as good as he was, or potentially. The same with Dixie Dean. There was a couple of Brazilians, a Uruguayan, some Italians around that time. But Neville Southall was just impeccable. There was nobody even close to him. So it's got to be Big Nev for me.
What about against us?
I'm going to go with...
Then you're going to say?
I was joking, yeah. No. I'm going to say probably... I mean, say Ronaldo, but he wasn't at his peak for United against us ever, really. He never had a great game. He never had bad games, but I'm going to say someone like Thierry Henry.
Oh, great shout, yeah.
Yeah, just honestly, I mean, I know Henry didn't always play well against us, and he did 2-foot Davy Weir, but at times a high.
Away with it.
Yeah, at times a high, but he was unplayable. He was absolutely sensational.
Yeah, did we get a great record at Goodison? Did he? Maybe he only
scored once,
maybe?
yeah, and should have been sent off.
Yeah, but it's your question, mate. How much you've got a few in mind?
Well, Warren nicked one of them, and that was Andrea Kanchelskis. Just what a player! With speed, scored goals, and it was just a shame to lose him when we did. I think he could have played for us for years. He was that good. I mean, he start with us. I mean, he did his shoulder in, and then there was all the transfer kerfuffle with Shakhtar Donetsk and then Man United and things like that. So yeah, and just seeing him live, it was just unbelievable. Like his pace. And the one against us, I'm going to go for world class. And I heard, I think one of you mentioned it on the weekly about his goal against Argentina. I'm going to go for Dennis Bergkamp.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, I never saw him. Just probably a bit too late, but brilliant player. I think I'd say mine. Like international is difficult. Like, did they have to be capped? Because I think Mikel obviously.
It could be anybody. Anybody was just like say anybody who's like a foreign player or whatever like that.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant international, as in international.
Or just like a bit of both.
Welsh is abroad, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say, British Isles, but it's fine.
If not, though, I'll go with Ray Atterveld.
Getting back to that Dennis Bergkamp goal against Argentina, have you heard the Dutch commentary for it from the goal.
Yeah. Just says his name.
Dennis Berg. Class.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Who's yours, Matt?
Andre's obviously like, I remember like pestering my dad to get his name on the back of my kit, but they were like, no, it costs too much. His name is so long. If we're going down the Welsh like avenues, like I loved Gary Speed as well when he was here. Obviously, it didn't end on the best terms for him at Everton, but I think the fullness of time and afterwards, he's obviously reflected on really well. And I think his probably time at Everton's considered a bit differently now to maybe it was at the time. I loved Arteta. I think he just brought a different dimensions to that Moyes team, which I kind of grew up with. Like, he's obviously a bit of a whinge back now, and don't really like him as a manager, but as a player, he was just boss. Do you know what I'll probably go for? It's probably Gravison. During like that season 04-05 when we were like just a proper team of workhorses, weren't we? And like had to battle and scrap, and we were winning games 1-0. He was the one who just sort of brought that composure on the ball, which is mad to think when you think of him as a fella. He's just so at odds with that, isn't he? He's not a composed fella. He's not a calm fella. He's absolutely off his head. But you put a football at his feet, and he just takes his time, picks the right pass. I don't think it's any surprise that season that like our form massively tailed off, didn't it? After he went to Real Madrid, if you look at our results in the second half of the season, they're nowhere near as good in the first half. So I think I'd probably go for Gravison. And in terms of against us, like I've always said this, but like the best player I've seen consistently at Goodison or I saw at Goodison was David Silva. Like, I think just like you see players do like amazing skills and like score great goals and get great assists, but just someone who just always found space on the pitch, like constantly. You'd look up and you'd be like, how's he got 5 yards there? And like his touch, his technique, like he was just absolutely brilliant footballer. And as much as City leveled us a few times, like watching him, was always a relatively nice experience, even though Everton, maybe John doesn't agree because he hates everyone, but
I hate every club, and I hate the majority of footballers, but I can still admire them as footballers. And David Silva was, as they say, he could find space in a phone box, couldn't he? He was that good.
Ridiculous. I liked him more when he had like his wavy black hair and he looked a lot cooler.
Yeah, cooler, definitely.
And he had to get the hair transplant in there, and
well, he's the poster boy for hair transplants. Him and Andros Townsend really must be seething looking at them too.
Yeah. And do you know what else I always thought was a brilliant player? Like, not quite as glamorous, but like, do you know when you're growing up and you sort of, I think when you're young, you always want to be the striker, and you love the strikers and like the flair players. And then if you get to a certain age and you start to appreciate like the less glamorous players, like midfielders who like defensive or like centre halves and fullbacks who like do those little things that maybe when you're a bit younger you don't appreciate. Like, I always remember like watching Sen when he was at Chelsea.
Oh, great player.
When he came to Goodison, I'd be like, God, the ground he covers, like the way he like occupies space, the way he carries the ball forward, like how strong he is in the tackle. I think like that was sort of like the point where I realised like, you can't just have 11 lads who are like fancy hands who do loads of good tricks. You've got to have these like really like solid defensive minded players in there as well. And he was
same
always
with Makaleli.
Yeah, that Chelsea midfield of Makaleli, Sen.
That goal he scored against Arsenal, where it was like they finally were looking like they finally looked like they were going to lose at home, and he hits that shot. Oh, what a player! He was good. That was a very good Chelsea team. That
I think you could throw Drogba in the mix as well.
Yeah,
he always scored or against us. Yeah.
Definitely. Although that goal he scored when Tim Howard went for a walk will never ever leave me. Let's move on. Talking about all these great players who've done us loads of damage down the years. John Wall asked this question. He said, if we were to have a mascot, what should it be? And if you could design a mascot for a team, what would it be? John, I'm assuming you've got answers already for this one.
Yeah, I'm actually going to send something in the mailbag group now. Okay. So an Everton mascot, I think, we it's got to be something to do with the tower, hasn't it? Some kind of anthropomorphized version of the tower. Gender neutral, so not gender specific, so we can, not alienate people, but something like that. Every other club's got it. You look at what it comes from is I read a big long form article about Cyril the Swan at Swansea, and it was absolute genius. I mean, if anyone wants to spend an hour reading it, because it is a long story, it's so funny, some of the things he got up to. So that's why I think we should have one, just to cause aggro with the opposing fans.
I was going to say, like, surely it's not like that big. It doesn't need like an hour-long article to explain why Swansea have got a swan as their mascot.
No, it's about 10, 15 minutes. It's brilliant, honestly. I'll find it and send it in mailbag. But so that's why it comes. And I think I'd just like to see one that causes murder. We've had Changi, but that wasn't Everton specific. We had Mr. Testicles, who is probably the greatest living Evertonian. And then we had Dixie back in the 90s. And that was just a monstrosity, a horrifying,
wasn't
terrible...
Dixie too big? Wasn't he too big?
Yeah,
it was like
6'10" or something. Yeah, it was awful.
It was absolutely terrifying, that one.
Yeah, so that's what it comes from. So I'd like to see us do something like that, like a tower, or give it a, like a name, cute name and that, but have it absolutely be an arsehole and cause murder with the opposing fans, like Cyril the Swan. And if we're going to do a mascot for other teams, do you think I'm going to go down the obvious route? But I'm not. I'm going to go with one for Notts Forest, which I've just sent in mailbag group now, and it's called Scab the Miner. I've just sent in the group there, and it looks a little bit like Marinakis.
Looks a bit like, I was going to say, it looks like cross between Marinakis and Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
That's what I've gone for.
Quality.
What did you put in ChatGPT to get that?
Let me have a look. So I put a photo of Marinakis in.
Oh my god!
And put it like class. his beard, and make it look fat and horrible. So.
Oh god! I mean, I'm not sure we can put that out, but. I think Les
put it out with. Put it out with no
yeah.
context.
There's nothing inaccurate about it, and it's all relevant and actual factual. So
the edit, what makes it through the edits is definitely less with me, I think, than with them. But we'll see. We might be able to put that up. But I mean, Warren, can you top that?
Well, I would steal a mascot from another team for us, and it's the greatest mascot in world football. And it's Partick Thistle's mascot.
Yes.
Scary thing.
That's what we need. And that should be the mascot of all mascots. And I don't think you'll ever top that. And that photo just shows you. It's just the juxtaposition of, I don't know if you can see it now, but it's the juxtaposition of the Celtic. It's a bit light, a bit bright for you. The Celtic team behind doing their huddle. And then the mascot just with that face. I just think it's wonderful.
Class.
Yeah. I don't even know what it's called, actually.
You should have that waiting in the changing room for the other team when they get in, and then when the lights come on, it just jumps out from like a locker or under the bench or something.
Brilliant, yeah, that'd be my one. So I'd have that. I mean, they said I'd have that at Goodison, then I'd have that at the Hill Dickinson.
Ian, have you got anything, mate?
John, you're not going to believe it, but I was going to say exactly the same as you. I was walking around the street today, thinking what we could have, and it was somebody dressed up in like the Rupert the Tower, and that was going to be it. Honestly, the Tower. Rupert the Tower, yeah.
I like that, Rupert the Tower. Yeah.
But it'd be like, do you remember that fella in the marathon a few years ago dressed up as Big Ben, and he had to like get to the finish line? If we had like the Tower, it'd be like that one. Like someone got to get on all fours to get out the tunnel and stuff like that.
And for an opposing team, I would have it would be for Newcastle, and it would be called Gordon the Rat.
Or Villa, it could be Ross the Rat. He's been doing the rat with his interviews, bless him. But
if you want a real laugh, go to the X page, Mascots Minute Silence. Has anyone seen it?
Incredible, yeah.
That's a great account.
It's not disrespectful, but it is a bit, because just the mascots trying to look all solemn. It's hilarious.
Oh God, incredible. Yeah, I would go something like Tower related as well. I was thinking, but I wouldn't go with the Tower. Obviously, it used to be a drunk tank, didn't it? So I'd have the Everton drunk could be our mascot. So like the drunk who would go in the drunk tank instead. So
that was the whole of the park end at Goodison, nah?
Yeah, like an Everton shirt on, like spilled ale all over them, like looking a bit dishevelled, not shaved for a couple of nights. Just like they've been allowed the drunk tank. So maybe something along those lines. But right, we'll rattle through some of these now because we are getting off the time. Chris Lee said, "What's your favourite cake?" Warren?
we in work, we do a thing every half term called Wellbeing Wednesday. So they get all the teachers, they can say you can either go home early or you can do an activity. So they've put on stuff like yoga and they've put on like boxing and high rocks and that sort of thing. Anyway, the last time they did bacon, so I selected to go and do some bacon, and I made a lovely, if I do say so myself, a lovely lemon drizzle.
Oh, very nice.
So I am a lemon drizzle cake fan. So I would have that.
Solid choice. John?
With despite my appearance, I'm not really a cake lover. So I'm more of a pie. So can that be acceptable?
Apple pie.
Apple pie, yeah, of course, yeah. But no, I'm not a big fan of cakes. There's nothing I go, oh yeah, no.
Fair enough. Ian?
Battenberg. Can't beat a piece
Nice.
of Battenberg with a nice cup of tea.
Oh, it's great, Charles. Great, Charles. I would go with like a shoe bun, like something with a lot of cream in it, something like that. Bit of chocolate on top, bit of drizzle.
Palm Bakery used to do the best Bavarian slice. They were incredible. They were outstanding. Them. They were worth every penny of your £1. They were superb. Bavarian slice from Palm Bakery.
Do you know what else I like? When we went to Lisbon on my stag do, we had a lot of pastel donatas, like the baked egg custards. They are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of that. Right. We will also do this one from another one from Chris, and then we'll do one more and we'll wrap it up. He said, the drunkest you've ever been at the match, Swansea away in 2012 was rough. First time you ever met Paul Daly. Ian, drunkest you've ever been at the match?
Chelsea in the FA Cup quarter-final, because we went, obviously we travelled down from the northeast and we've gone down.
Twice.
This was Rom's gone twice, yeah. There's a little story after it as well, because we used to drink, as Warren knows, we drinking the Black Horse. So we had a few drinks on the way down, a few drinks in the Black Horse, watched the game, and rat ass. So we were coming out the ground after the game, singing the Everton songs. And do you know Rory from TalkSport? He was doing an interview for Chelsea Fan TV, and we just like jumped in it, sort of thing. A couple of lasses, Laura and Rachel, messed his hair up. His hair was immaculate. There was a lass we put around on there. I went up and kissed the camera and just singing Everton songs, and he just like didn't know what to do. He absolutely panicked. It's somewhere on YouTube. But
I was going to say, is there any evidence of this?
We thought he was doing something for Everton, but it was Chelsea Fan TV, and we just gear crashed it. But and then drinking red wine on the way back. It was just
God. John, how about you, mate?
Villarreal 2005. No memory of that game whatsoever at home.
At home, yeah.
Nothing whatsoever. I remember going to Chepstow about 1 o'clock. I remember leaving the Chepstow about 6:15. I remember getting to the ground, and then that's it.
Bloody hell. You could have murdered somebody.
I might have done, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Never know.
What?
Well, it was... Oh.
Do you know I think it was the Distan derby when he scored that header. And this was back in the day back in the times when I would drink the derbies. I would always drink like a whiskey or a brandy every morning, and have a couple of them. So I used to get really behind the eyes drunk where you can't even see straight. And I remember we got into Anfield, and because I actually went to this one as well. It was either that one or the Beckford one of them. And I remember, bit like you just said there, Ian, or John, sorry, with Villarreal, no memory. I don't remember none of the first half. And I remember we snuck a little hip flask in as well and was drinking the whiskey at half time. And I think back now, and I wouldn't last 2 minutes doing that now. But at the time, it was just going down, dead easy. And I only remember, I think it was the Distan goal. I just about remember seeing it because we all went mad. But for large parts of that game, but my mate tells a funny story. They went to Villa once and they were on the whiskey all day. And he said that, I swore I saw Tony Hibbert twice. So they always used to sing 2 Tony Hibberts. And that was the worst I've ever been at that game.
Oh, God. I think mine would be a relatively recent one, the 4-0 against United last season.
Oh.
And I don't know if you remember, we did the post-match podcast for that while the game was still going on because we left basically just after half time, and Mark Mosey went on like a 10-minute rant.
That was the what? Do you know what, Matt? It's so funny you say that, because around about, I think it was last season when we were well and truly safe and we were doing quite well. The Moyes had come in and steadied the ship, and I remember thinking I need to listen back to the Leicester post match, because that was just brilliant. That was just euphoric that day, and you obviously all went. And then I remember thinking, do you know what? I need to remind myself how bad things were, because I remember Moses' infamous rant, where for about 2 weeks after we were getting messages, weren't we, like, is Mose all right? And everyone was genuinely concerned for his welfare.
That was some rant as well, wasn't it?
And do you know what? To listen back to it in the context of how we are now, it really does remind you how much of the shit we were in. You know, it really does. It was art to listen back to it. It really was. But yeah, you got off, and I think at one point you even went, they scored a fifth.
Yeah, because they got given a penalty, and I think it got overturned by VAR. And we were like, oh, it's going to be 5-0 then. But I mean, there's the levels of professionalism that people expect from us all on the Blue Room. Obviously, not knowing what the score is while we're doing the podcast. But yeah, I put my hand on his shoulder at one point and went, like, just said, like, you know, you're all right. And he went, I think he said, fuck off, get off me, leave me alone. Carried on. We'll wrap up with this one. Anything else we can save for next week when Les is back. Where is it? I've just lost the question. It was essentially, how do you spend your time during the international break? Warren, what have you got planned for the rest of the week?
I have been enjoying actually the recent other sporting events that have been on. So the rugby's been on, hasn't it, recently? So I've been watching some of that. I like catching up on some of the event. But I'll tell you what I am going to do, Matt. I know this is very close to your heart. I am going to be nosing up on some of my Ashes research and stats and watching a little bit of coverage of that, because I love an Ashes series, and I think particularly this year as well. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I'm really looking forward to when we all, obviously, I don't know if you've got jobs where you finish for Christmas, but it's going to be great being able to sit up and watch some of it over the Christmas period. So I'm going to be doing a bit of research on that and reading up on that, ready for that to start, because it's coming up soon, next week, isn't it?
Yeah, it starts next week. Yeah. One of my favourite hours of the year is Christmas Day night when everyone's gone to bed and getting the cheese board out and watching the first hour of the Boxing Day Test match in Australia. Like, it starts usually at 11 o'clock. So just watching that for an hour with your cheese and chutney and then going to bed. But
amazing way to end. Yeah, amazing way to end it.
Perfect, absolutely perfect. But John, what have you got planned, mate?
Absolutely nothing. I'm not feeling too good, so I'm just gonna stay in. Which we spoke about on Tuesday, didn't we, Warren? I'm gonna do a bit more work on that video that we're doing. So, as you can tell by the fact that I've been harassing you with different intros and things like that for it.
It's good, isn't it? You know, you don't feel good, but you're still here, unlike our absent host this week, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, that's the difference between the Wirral and Liverpool, isn't it?
I'm from the Wirral, so don't be tired of me with that brush.
I know, but he's from a different type of Wirral than you.
Keep digging, John.
Oh, no, I'm always going to keep digging. Eventually, you get out the hole.
We're all friends here.
Well, I've been catching up with episodes of Coronation Street that I've missed. I've gone back to my spin class for the first time in a while to lose a few pounds before Christmas. And it's my son's birthday on Sunday. So after I've finished the years, we're going for an Italian meal. And it's his nan's birthday tomorrow as well. So just on the road, so it'll be it. Couple of beers and then just a lazy weekend.
Corrie and spin class. Are you Beverly Callard?
I am. I look fucking great in that leotard, mine.
I mean, what a way to finish. That's
Are you working, Matt? Are you doing anything? Or are you working? Or are you there?
No, I've got so tomorrow. I was hoping to get out in the garden in our new house for the first time, but the weather is horrific, so unlikely. And then I'm working Sunday and I'm off all next week, so. We just moved house, so a lot of the boxes around need to unpack. But yeah, should be pretty boring. But yeah, full steam ahead for United, obviously, in terms of all the content we're doing and whatever as well. So
absolutely, yeah,
good stuff. Because we've got loads coming up over the course of the next week. We'll have Blue Monday and Byline as usual. We've got Sue Smith coming on this week, which would be good. So great to see what Sue's got to say about the way the teams are doing this season, the lads and the girls. Obviously, both had a bit of an up and down campaign so far. And yeah, we'll have all the usual stuff we built up to Manchester United. Hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already. You'll get all notifications whenever we put out a show. Les will be back next week to give you the usual mailbag service. But no, really enjoyed that. Good stuff. Cheers to Ian, John, and Warren. Hope everybody has a good weekend. Up the toffees. Speak to you again soon.